All right, welcome, everyone. It has been long overdue since we have been back here for shaking up the algorithms. And as you can see, I am not in the best of health or in looks today, so forgive me, y'all. But I did not want to prolong this story anymore. The story of this author and the dialogue that we're going to have afterwards is definitely something that needs to be addressed, needs to be talked about, it needs to be aired so that people will be able to either support, sponsor, however which way to help get the message out for this author. So without further ado, I am going to bring up Miss Lyreshia Speaks. She is the author of the book Allegedly, and I'm also going to bring up my co-host for the evening, Deddrick Wilmer, as we go in full detail about why this book was written and the impact that it has made thus far. So with that being said, Deddrick, let me bring you to the stage and let's introduce Lyeshia Speaks. Welcome.
Welcome. How you guys doing?
We are good.
Doing great. Ms. Speaks, I want to introduce to the world Lyreshia Speaks allegedly. This story is it's a story where based on what opinion that you may have or where you come from, any other type of experiences, but it's an opportunity of two great kids, a devout wife, a virtuous wife, a proud auntie of others in her family, and someone who has been in law enforcement for many years, from being a social worker, a probation officer, located in I call my second home in Northern Jersey. And I want to introduce this wonderful author this evening tonight. And this is a conversation that we're going to divulge into to understand the reasons, what has happened, and also to the solution. A lot of times we broadcast what the situation is, but we don't provide corrective action and solutions to any occurrence, because nobody's perfect and situations could be no greater and worse from others. But it's what can we do to overcome significant hurdles and obstacles and adverse situations in our lives. So I'm going to turn it over to Lyreshia. And Lyreshia, welcome here to again, the spotlight for police discrimination. Is it different for men versus women? And the author of Allegedly.
Hi, how you doing? Thank you for allowing me on your platform. I'm hanging in there. Today's rough. I'm hanging in there. Thank you for allowing me on your platform. Thanks, Ms. J. We've been trying to do this for a long time. I'm glad I'm able to, finally do it. So I appreciate it. I do appreciate it.
If you don't mind, Lyreshia, can I also play your trailer?
From my
absolutely. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen,
are you gonna play the visual or just the vocal?
Yes, this is the visual. This is the visual. Okay. And ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you are tuned in to this episode. This is a heavily debated episode, and we are going to make change for this young lady. So bear with me for just a moment here.
I have advocated, and I still advocate, revolutionary changes.
Being a probation officer to me was the perfect job. I honestly thought it was the best thing that ever happened to me. As soon as I got there, I noticed it was a nightmare.
I advocate self-determination for all oppressed people.
His behavior was so egregious in that office.
Just your everyday stress that an African American woman has to endure in this world, all contained right now, Middlesex County Probation.
I advocate an end to racist policies, the eradication of sexism, and the elimination of political medical repression.
People coming into office trying to transition to a very traumatic work environment.
This is how this place runs. This is how this place treats Black people on a consistent basis everywhere.
If that is a crime, then I am totally guilty.
Powerful, okay? Powerful message. I'm glad you were able to complete a visual trailer, because it's one thing to be able to promote your book and tell your story, because ultimately people don't believe it. You know what I mean?
I don't.
Some of the, I'm going to be honest, some of the stuff that you shared with me during the last segment in which we tried to get this off the ground, I could not imagine the opposition that you were facing with this case. And it definitely shows a misrepresentation of justice for our people. And that's why I had to have you on here. Like, it needs to be said. Like, it needs to be, you know, this chain needs to be broken, you know. So Deddrick, I'm going to give you an opportunity as well to either ask some questions. I'm going to kind of tag team with you.
Okay. Hey, thank you, Ms. J. Lyreshia, as I asked, and we talked before this broadcast here, and my question to you, can you just elaborate, what is the case? What is going on? What's happening? And I know you said it was twofolds, but what is really going on?
It's so many different ones. So I'm trying to make this as easy and simple as possible. As a Black woman who worked for the New Jersey judiciary, I reported discrimination, harassment, and retaliation, and the treatment that I was undergone at work, the abuse of my employer. I was retaliated against. And the retaliation was to discredit me, to discredit my lawful claims, to destroy me, and to shut me up. It was an intimidation factor. And I don't work that way. Like, if I see something that's wrong, I'm going to say something about it. And the New Jersey judiciary literally incarcerated my mentally ill nephew because of me using my legal rights to redress or to address their abuse in the workplace. That's the gist of it. I was written up for using my approved FMLA, family medical leave, at work as a Black woman. And they only did it because as a Black woman, they thought they would get away with it. But I refused to let them get away with it. And I filed a lawsuit with no attorney against them in federal court because it was fraud. It was a lot of fraud and corruption.
And I'm assuming that was through the EEOC. That's who's the jurisdiction of that case, huh? In federal court.
Yes,
okay.
That's my federal case.
And okay. Now, for your nephew, you mentioned your nephew. What is his official charge on record is?
Right now, he's being held for a violation of parole, but his initial charge was he was falsely accused of aggravated assault and second-degree robbery. He has a trailer as well. I don't know if you want to play that trailer too, but a documentary was done on my case and on his case, as well as the book. The book and the documentary was my solution to them, the courts trying to cover up what they do and how they've been treating people. Because I'm not the only person who filed a lawsuit for discrimination or harassment. Several people have filed lawsuits against governments all the time. It's actually
that's common. Like, I mean, that's a norm.
Yeah, in the state of New Jersey right now, you have three attorney generals, 3 Black attorney generals suing for discrimination. You have the police chief for Trenton suing for discrimination. You have a police officer from North Brunswick suing for discrimination. He filed an internal complaint with the AG because he was told to target Black people by the prosecutor and he didn't want to do it. This is a police officer. And then they came after him in his job and he sued. My friend, one of my old coworkers, a sheriff, he was a sheriff officer. He sued for being called the N-word. And so it's several people suing, but the courts, the New Jersey judiciary and all courts have figured out a way to cover up these lawsuits and the abuses that they do in the workplace. And that's what my book and my documentary is. So that's why I
Okay.
went to the
So
string of doing those things.
now, of course, Forrest, your nephew, he had, okay, he was parole. So, I mean, assuming he was incarcerated prior to. So, was it the fact that you feel, and was he allegedly, and I know allegedly is a strong word, because I mean, there's motions, feelings, and facts. So the question was, he was actually target, like he was like he when he went in his house to do, he didn't show up to a parole meeting, or he got pulled over the side of the road, or he, what led him to get right back into the system in a case while he was violation of his parole?
I have to go to the beginning with how he first got the charge. My nephew has mental health issues. He has mental health issues. He's been in and out of the house since he was 15. They was diagnosing him with schizophrenia, hearing voices, all kind of diagnoses that they don't even give you until you're 18. As a kid, you're not supposed to be diagnosed with these things, but that's how severe his mental health was. He was in a Chinese food restaurant, and he was asking a customer for $1 so he'd go get a Black and Mild. The owner knew him, so the owner tried to pick up the wet floor sign and hit him with it. My nephew, did not get hit. He protected himself. They charged him with second-degree robbery and aggravated assault. That's how he got the initial charge. Because somebody tried to hit him with something.
Second-degree robbery, I mean, somebody hit him with something, but that means second-degree robbery means that he had to, so it means that based on testimony, based on who was ever in that store, say
no
that
one ever testified
because he asked for money.
No one ever testified that he ever robbed them. In the police report, it was a police report called to a fight.
And they just charged him.
But this is what I'm telling you. Let me tell you how his case got into the county.
That's battery or assault based on
It should have been assault. How do you get a robbery when no robbery took place? He never said my nephew tried to take his money. That's nowhere in the police report. The victim is saying he hit me.
But Lyreshia, let me ask you this question. I'm sorry. Was his prior record when he was on when he served previous time, was he ever, you were saying, was he ever charged for previous crimes or anything dealing with robbery in the past?
No. This is his first offense as an adult. This is his first offense.
No. I'm talking about, we go back as a juvenile. When I'm asking, was he ever charged as a juvenile? Was he ever charged for robbery before?
No, never. His juvenile record, the first charge he got, his juvenile record, the first charge he got, he was in the bathroom. He was going to the bathroom at his friend's house. His friend, who the same age as him, 12, 13-year-old, the sister called the police. They charged him with burglary for going to the bathroom at his friend's house. That's his first charge. That's his charge.
So he get caught. So he always get caught in the wrong place at the wrong time.
He has mental health issues. So you're not dealing with somebody who can understand the charges even being put on you. He, to this day, if he calls out, and he don't even understand why he's in there right now. So what happened was, I was complaining about the racism that I was experiencing in the workplace. As a probation officer, by law, you have to inform the court that you have a family member involved in the court, regardless if they're in Jersey City, Trenton, or wherever. My nephew had a juvenile matter. I was made aware of it, and I reported that my nephew had a case. The Middlesex County Court, Middlesex County, the same county that Asana Shakur has a warrant out for her arrest for those false charges since 1978. Middlesex County Court said this case is a conflict. We are going to transfer this case to Union County because you're a probation officer. He's on probation. We can't have this case in this county. I continue to complain about the abuse that I was facing in the workplace. The court said, we're going to teach you a lesson. And they transferred his case from Union County back to Middlesex County, where I was, and issued a court order against me saying that I could not have a conversation with anybody regarding his case. I cannot advocate. I cannot help him. They wanted me silent because I was advocating and helping him because he was in Union County, which this is where I say this is where a lot of the criminal activity took place. Because you're saying the case is a conflict.
Is that where the crime actually took place? But that wasn't where it was charged at. That was just so they actually moved it to a whole nother. So who filed the motion for that to be switched from jurisdiction to jurisdiction? Who owned that motion?
No, what happened was he had this was before he got the adult charge. He was a juvenile. They said that his juvenile case was transferred to Union County. Before he became an adult, they transferred it back and issued a court order against me.
Okay.
Then he got his adult charge.
They charged him as adult.
So then in 2018, he was in a Chinese food restaurant. He was released from the hospital, I don't even think 60 days, when he got that charge at the Chinese restaurant. The Middlesex County prosecutor filed the motion saying we want this case from Union County to Middlesex County for no other reason, but they want vengeance against me. So they went by using my nephew to get the vengeance. Because if they were looking for justice, you could have got justice in any of the county courts in New Jersey. But why is this case? In court, we asked them, you have to give us every case where you had a probation officer, where you said the case was a conflict, you transferred the case out, and then you transferred the case back and issued a court order. That is extreme.
Well, yeah, that's why I asked the question, Lyreshia. I mean, you have to, the first thing, all DAs and their assistant DAs and in city prosecutors, they have a workload like no other. And just to take a case added to their workload and out of jurisdiction, which is very unique. Now, because we're dealing with employment issues on the left hand, because again, you may not be culturally fit. You may not be, because culturally fit is not based on DEI. Okay, that's a whole nother conversation another given day. But it's sometimes based on, politics and processes. These processes and flow and bureaucracy has been going on at the beginning of time since the Commonwealth has been established in New Jersey. Okay. But at the same time, too, is the fact that there is oversight. You have the federal oversight, but then you have state oversight. So you have the folks, again, in Trenton, who coordinate, which is the state AG and their inspectors and generals in TAC, who make sure you can file a formal complaint with those guys. And then make the valuation if it holds any merit. My question is, have you provide merit that justify of the retaliation? Because emotions and feelings are two different things. And Lady Justice, is a blind eye to feelings, but it's hard to not see facts. And what are your facts are?
The facts is the fact that they said it was a conflict. I didn't say the court said it was a conflict. The court said we have to take this case to another county to eliminate the appearance of impropriety. So why then is it a case that they said was a conflict, that they wanted the appearance of impropriety? Why did they transfer that case back to Middlesex County and issue a court order against an employee? I asked them these questions in my case in discovery in November of 2021. It is March of 2024, and they are still refusing to answer this question.
Well, everybody. So my question is, everybody is in the United States Constitution. Everybody deserves it's the right to have a speedy trial. So has he gone to trial yet?
With that case, okay, because what happened to him is very detailed. So they transferred his case back. They issued a court order against me. I told my sister that she had to get him out of this county because they were racist, allegedly, and they were coming after me. They were targeting me. She didn't know about what was going on. I've had 2 EEO complaints against this county from the federal EEO. My sister wrote a letter to the public defender saying I didn't know my sister had all this going on. The fact that this case was transferred back, even though it was transferred out, and my nephew having mental health issues and I'm being unheard, I feel like there's something going on with this case. Transfer it out. My nephew had an emergency change of venue hearing. An emergency change of venue hearing. Middlesex County public defender, who was representing my nephew, told him if he did not sign a plea for 5 years incarceration today, because she said if he transferred this case out of this county, he would get 10 years in prison.
I mean, that's what I mean. That's nothing wrong with that. I mean, yeah.
Yes, it is. It was. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. That's a fact.
And give me a response. I'm gonna give me an opportunity to respond. I'm gonna tell you my issue on that. Go ahead, Lyreshia.
But the facts are the facts. So she, in an emergency change of venue hearing, it shouldn't have been a plea. If the family comes to you and say there's a conflict, Because if the family comes to you and say there's a conflict and you have an emergent change of engineering to eliminate the conflict that the court said was there, transfer the case out. And the family also told her we wanted to get him an attorney. We didn't want her to work on his behalf. So for her to offer him a plea for 5 years NERA, 5 years no early release act, meaning as a senior citizen at 65 years old, he would not be able to get senior housing because of a charge that he had at 18. They were coming to destroy him because he was a black man. And they were coming to and teach me a lesson about this is what happened and this is how we go after you.
Okay.
My sister, who was my nephew's mother, told him do not sign anything.
But Lyreshia, let me say this. Okay. I understand what you're getting at, but you got to understand this too, is the fact that a public defender, his or her job is to reduce their caseload. Of course, everything is going to be a plea, but it's your responsibility as a family to file an emergency motion to the court to change counsels from public defender to give y'all time to hire a private attorney to represent your nephew and her son. Okay,
he should have never been offered that plea.
But that's what they do. I don't care if you're in Sacramento, California, or you're in Boise, Idaho, or you're in. It's everywhere.
That's the excuse that they make. That's the excuse that's how the corruption.
But this is what we got to avoid being part of the system. Okay, so
yes,
we have
but
to
if
take
you're
some
part of the system simply because you're black,
no,
you can't avoid being black. That's how you're born.
I'm a black man myself. Okay, I've been a black man since July the 29th, 1976. Okay, again, it is so easy to do. It's so easy to do wrong, but it's so easy to do wrong, but it's hard to not do right. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. And again, we have to accept accountability within ourselves. Now, your situation, in your case, with your EOC complaint, that is in whole left field. That is a federal situation and of course, anybody that in that case, of course, when you're in government and you're going out to government, you're going against an animal. I mean, now private world is different, but in the government world is different. But in correlation to your nephew, then I have to put that responsibility on the fam. Okay.
So why did the public defender? I filed a lawsuit after that happened September 11th, 2019. I filed my lawsuit October 5th, 2019, and I sued the prosecutor, the public defender, the HR manager, the trial court administrator. And when I sued everybody and their mama, why did the public defender office give my nephew a pool attorney? And that a pool attorney immediately filed a motion saying my nephew should have never been offered the plea. Why did he file a motion saying, based on the corruption that he filed in his motion, which is on the record, saying this young man should have never been offered this plea. This young man should have never. Why did he? If it was how it's supposed to work, the public defender then hire somebody to try to undo what they just did. If that's what was supposed to be done.
I'm gonna give you my 2 cents. Our listening audience. No. Do not accept a public defender. Okay. No. So again, every court, every law-abiding entity in the United States of America have sentencing guidelines. The sentencing guidelines for someone who's in parole violation, who have probably was from a Class C misdemeanor all the way up to a felony. Hold up, let me say this. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Have probably the 5 years was probably the max sentence. Okay. And that public defender probably went to the max sentence. So again, the attorney you all decide to hire, or whatever attorneys y'all selected, or whatever, say, hey, 5 years coming, that's kind of stretch. Won't we just increase a couple years of parole, or whatsoever, or give him? I'm assuming, is he currently serving time right now? Is he currently held? Is he on he has a bond, or he had a no bond? What is the situation
right now due to corruption? He's in prison right now. He's in prison right now due to the continued corruption of the case.
To the continued corruption of the case. So he earning time as he go. How long has he been there? 2 years now? 3 years
Since
now?
2019.
2018. So he about to hit the 5-year marker right now. So if you take the plea right now, he just served a couple months. He comes out.
That's not how it works. I mean, that's good for La La Land, but in reality, that's not how it works.
Yeah, but again, what I'm saying again is that he wasn't even given an opportunity to I mean, I'm assuming a bond was never issued because he had a parole violation. Okay. And that's the point that I'm getting at, is that if he has a parole violation, was he living home with mama? Was he with family? Or he was just on his own.
I have to get into that because that's also part of the corruption. This is his first adult case. He's never had an adult case besides this.
Well, just
In
because
his
you cut off a
juvenile
kid, but what's the excuse? That no.
But in his juvenile case, he had when he went to the bathroom and got that charge,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
then he was in a facility and he was assaulted by the staff and he ran from the facility. So that's a parole violation. Those are his charges. That's it. We're not talking about somebody with a record. We're talking about he ran from the facility because he was assaulted. And this is the issue when people say, oh, you shouldn't do the crime. As a kid, you shouldn't be assaulted. He's a victim of the state of New Jersey since he's had his medical issues. And because of this illusion that, oh, he needs to hold himself. You cannot hold yourself accountable when you keep being attacked, when they keep going after you. After I filed my lawsuit and the attorney tried to file the motion to get his charges taken away from him, COVID happened. It shut down. The day they had their hearing to see if, my nephew had an evaluation. The person who completed his evaluation was an independent evaluation. He said my nephew qualifies for not guilty by reason of insanity. At the time of the offense, he qualifies for that, which means he cannot legally be charged with the crime, and to incarcerate him would be detrimental to his mental health. The judge in New Jersey said, we don't care, he's Black, and convicted him. What the state of New Jersey was supposed to do was get somebody to perform an evaluation opposite of what that doctor said, but they couldn't get nobody because everyone agreed that he qualified for not guilty by reason of insanity. So if you have an individual, whether he's my nephew or not, who qualifies for not guilty by reason of insanity, meaning they can't even be charged, what are we doing here?
Then he just go from a correction facility to an institution.
Exactly. Yeah. But the state of New Jersey don't care.
Okay. And I understand. So in your book, I'm gonna go back to your book, and this is gonna be our last segment. On your book, and I want you to go and I haven't read your book, and that's my fault, and I should have read your book. And I want all of our listening audience to and again, Lyreshia, tell everyone, how can they get your book right now? How can they order your book? Website. Can they go to Amazon? Can they go to any other sources? Okay. So go into again a website that I'm gonna give to everybody, and I'm gonna tell you, I have it up right now. It is LyreshiaSpeaks.com. If you just Google Lyeshia Speaks, that's LYRESHIA Speaks, like I'm speaking to you.com. The website is there. You can order the book whatsoever. And please grab this book. I'm going to read it myself and everything else. I didn't have it. And again, the website is a very, very, very informative website. It goes over the situation with her nephew. It is a dynamic and everything else. And again, the book is, and I bring this up to you is that, what is the status right now? And the book is right now is $20 right now for the book. Just kind of give you a heads up. It's even though it says sold out, I'm assuming it's on a back order. So once it comes back in production, it's going to get out. Am I correct, Lyreshia?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Perfect. And so, but what is the status in your case right now? If you comment, I don't know, counsel probably advised you can't comment too much, but what is the status right now in your case in federal court in reference to EOC complaint that you filed?
The state of New Jersey is refusing to answer discovery and provide documentation. They're refused since 2021.
Okay.
My attorney filed a motion to compel. The federal judge told her and withdrew that motion to compel because she didn't want it on the record. And I have a state case and a federal case. 3 Black women are suing them. The 3 of us are suing them. The federal judge told them they had to provide us the information and discovery because they're refusing to answer questions for all of us, one who was employed since 1995. Mm-hmm. And she detailed the abuse that she suffered. In addition to that, one was employed since 2009. And she detailed the abuse that she suffered. I was employed since 2012. The state of New Jersey refusing to answer questions, refusing to give over documents. On February the 1st, they hired an outside counsel to represent them.
Of course.
I had mine for 4 years.
Of course. And I'm assuming I know it's going to go back and forth until there's a trial date, or even the judge may dump this into mediation? Has
No,
that been?
it's in mediation now. In the county that my case is in, there are no civil trials. The state of New Jersey conveniently shut down all the trials in that county. So we are forced to mediation.
We got to go to mediation. Yep.
The judge is the mediator, and the judge told them they had to give over that information November the 27th. They are still refusing to do so.
And you know, you can request an independent mediator. So if you feel that mediator, well, hear me on this. If you feel that mediator is going to be one-sided or whatsoever, you can always request another mediator. It don't have to be friends on either side. And that's why you have to do when they give you a mediator, they say to give you Deddrick Wilmer, okay? You do your homework and see Deddrick have any alliance, even with experience, background, previous cases, which is all public record, that have made a swing opinion based on case like that. Or they may have EOC, discrimination background, and you just because their job is not really to make a decision. Their job is sit there and make sure both people could be at peace and move on their life. That's the purpose of mediation.
The judge is our mediator. The judge is our mediator.
Impossible. That's impossible. You can request.
I'm telling you, my cases you ain't never
request,
seen.
But you can request.
You can request
the court. You read it.
I rather the judge in this situation. New Jersey is so corrupt. I know
Jersey.
The judge.
I don't think I know. I know Jersey. Yeah. Go ahead.
It's so corrupt. I'd rather the judge do it, and this judge seems to be fair to us because they tried to do a lot of different things, and the judge just shut it down. And I'd rather the judge for my state case.
And Lyreshia, we're going to close it out. Lyreshia, I want to thank you for being with us on this Sunday, wonderful Palm Sunday, March Madness Sunday. And Lyreshia, again, tell everybody how to get your book. Lyreshia
Speaks. You can get any information about me. I did a web series called Ask Me Why I Was Fired. It's on my TikTok. It's on my YouTube. Everything is Lyreshia Speaks on my Instagram. And you go to my website. Everything is Lyreshia Speaks. I tried to make it easy for the people if anybody wanted to get in contact with me regarding this situation or helping me spread it because I'm so shadow banned. I'm trying to get my story out. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much peace, love with you, also to your nephew, and wish your family well. And again, success, and may God bless you. And again, please go buy this book, take a look at it, and also to understand how to relate if this is your story as well. Thank you and stay blessed, my love.
Thank you.
I wanted to read a few of the comments as well, and then run one of the commercials for our sponsors for this show before we go to the next segment. So let's see. Trailblazers Radio, they said this was a powerful message. Carla Smith said, this is so unfortunate. I hate hearing this. Trailblazers Radio also stated, as much as we seek retribution for these miscarriages of justice, we never get that justice. Our justice is brought, and we are told that this is the best that they can do. Also, Christopher Henson, he mentioned that he is loving the intensity of the speakers on the show this evening. So thank you so much to everyone who has commented. And we are going to now highlight some of our sponsors before we go to our next segment.
Imagine your favorite taste as a smell, intensified 10 times in a bottle. So strong that one spray brightens your day, and it lasts all day long, and in some cases, all week. What if I told you can have it in your life, and it can fit in your pocket? I would not advise you to eat it, although you may want to, but you can spray it wherever you want. We call it the Stinky Stopper, because it smells so good, it just changes your mood and puts a smile on your face.
Does your business need more visibility? Need more affordable marketing platforms? Don't let your foundation crumble. Advertise with us, shaking up the algorithms, where we shift your marketing one show at a time. We have package prices starting as low as $25. Contact us for more details via email, twinforceproductions@gmail.com. find us on our social media page.
All right, all right. Thank you to those sponsors that have solicited their visibility this month. We appreciate you for keeping the show going. Now, we are going to bring up one of our other panelists. He has been in the background listening in on the interview of the author spotlight, getting some more information about you as an individual, Lyreshia, and how this case is major packed with information. So we are now going to bring him on the stage and continue with our topic of discussion for today. Police discrimination. Is it different for Black men versus Black women? So with that being said, let's bring up Frederick Beatty, who is also the CEO of Trailblazers Radio podcast. And thank you so much for being here again, sir.
Thank you for having me here, Brother Deddrick. Good to see you again.
And same here, Brother Betty. How you been, my man?
I'm good. Miss Lyreshia, it's an honor to have you here and also to listen to your story. So I've been listening in the background, and I have to say that this is, I mean, to say horrible and terrible or complete understatements is unheard. I won't even say unheard of. It's just
very common.
I mean, there's no words, honestly.
Yeah.
Horrible and terrible are not even the best words to describe it. It's just, I have no words, honestly speaking.
And you know, Frederick, I'm gonna add on. As Frederick, I'm gonna add on to what you just mentioned, and this is one of the things I've said all the time, and privately and publicly, that you know, every environment is not fit for everyone. You know, when people ask me, like, you know, Deddrick, you know, is this school district, this side of town, is it Black male friendly? I say no. I say, is it a good school district? I say, is it Black male friendly? And I use Black male friendly as an example, whereas that they accept us. Every area don't accept us. Just because you're in the north, in north of the Mason-Dixon line, don't mean you're in paradise. You know, it goes from neighborhood, zip code to zip code, neighborhood to neighborhood, block to block, neighbor to neighbor. Okay. But at the same time, too, is that it's easy to get a trap to be, and it's no anything towards you, Lyreshia, I'm just speaking in general, is that easy to get trapped into in this world of, you know, of everything's against us. Okay. I'm always the type person at halftime, we're going to make some adjustments. If I get my ass kicked by 20 in halftime, we're not going to sit there and say, okay, we're going to give it up and we're just going to go through the motion and get through the game. No, we're going to make some adjustments so we can compete and it's say, hey, if it's not us, guess what? We're going to pack our bags and we're going to make some adjustments and move on somewhere else. And sometimes in life, but let me say this, Lyreshia, and I'm going to let you dialogue into this. And I get at this because it's easy for me to go out and tell the world that I'm a victim of something. Okay. I've been in jobs. I've been in corporate America for all of my last 30 years of my life. Okay. And I'm going to tell you something. It ain't no punk. And I'm telling you, I've been going through excruciating experiences. And trust me, even still today, you know, I run a multi-state financial institution, and I still go through it. But I'm not going to run around and blame others, because at the end of the day, that's not going to help put food on my table. What's going to put food on my table is how do I persevere and not worrying about the boogeyman, because guess what? Black folks, white folks, black, brown, green, blue, green, yellow, all different shades don't like me, and I can give two shits. Okay. You know what I'm saying? But they're not going to identify who I am as a person. That can identify my character. You know what I'm saying? Because out of 7 billion, there's going to be 4 people who's going to truly grieve once I lay under, when God called me home. But what I can do in the midst of that is to educate my people that I'm close to, regardless of what ethnicity you are, on how to avoid the pitfalls in life. And I'm speaking, Lyreshia, like if you're not here right now. You know what I'm saying? So in a case like this, hey, I'm not going to live in an area where I have a nephew or a son or anybody I love who is a convicted felon going to live in the same community where he currently resides, where he went in trouble at. I'm not going to do that, because the rap is going to follow him. Jesus.
But that didn't happen.
But he will not be in the damn state. Okay, he won't be there.
We about to move.
Okay,
but
thank
I gotta
you.
tell you what happened with his
Talk to me,
thing,
Mom. Talk to me.
But what I want to say, I agree with what you're saying to a point, but not everybody has the fortitude or whatever. The reason why I'm fighting my case and the reason why I filed my lawsuit with no attorney, because if not me, then who? At the end of the day, I observed the abuses by my employer, and I decided that, you know what? Not only am I not going to go nowhere, they're not going to get away with everything that they did. And it's cool if you could pick up and go somewhere else, and more power to you. But what about the people who can't? Because at the end of the day, even if you leave, racism is not going to stop.
Lyreshia. That's not
it's
your
my
problem
when it came after me.
You're not Jesus.
I made it my problem. I made it my problem, and I want all the smoke. So I'm willing to take whatever.
Lyreshia.
It's my problem. It's my problem.
That's why, guys, you got to read a book. You got to read this book.
It's my problem. Because at the end of the day, I made it my problem. You're not going to sit up here, and as a black woman, I grew up in North. I grew up as a black woman, and I was told all you have to do to get a part of the American dream is go to school, get an education.
I understand.
Don't have no kids before you married. Don't do no. I've never seen marijuana. Yeah. People make fun of me because I'm from North and I've never seen marijuana. I don't drink alcohol. At my wedding, I had a Sprite. I did everything I was supposed to do to get the American dream. In fact, I wanted to be FBI.
How you have ginger ale? How you have ginger ale?
I had Sprite. But I held myself accountable to this American dream of what it was supposed to be. And at the end of the day, it was BS. So I'm from the streets. Don't lie to me. You ain't got to lie to me and tell me that you're going to be faithful. Tell me you're going to cheat.
That's emotions.
No, it's not. It's common sense. They should have left me alone.
No one is nobody entitled to like you. Nobody entitled.
Again, and that was the point of me staying at the job. And that was the point of me staying at the job. You ain't got to like me, but you damn sure not gonna violate my rights.
But again, you have a choice to go work somewhere else.
I know I didn't want to. I wanted to work there, and I stayed there for 9 years, and I held them accountable and wrote them up over 30 times. My case is airtight, baby. Because I did what I did, hopefully somebody else who was in that position won't have to go through what I went through. Because I documented, because I have everything, because I wrote my book and my documentary. Baby, what I did was groundbreaking. I understand it's not for everybody, but at the end of the day, people cannot go keep abusing people just because they're black. And me seeing this
ain't about being black always.
Okay.
It ain't always being black.
In this situation, it is.
But go somewhere else where you can be loved. If you want to be
that's why I started my own business.
Yes.
I am loved at my business. Yeah. I'm the only one that worked there. So I love me.
But Lyreshia,
but you ain't gonna, as a government entity, you're not gonna do this to me. I'm sorry. I don't care who you are.
But Lyreshia,
as a government entity that I pay taxes for, I'm from the hood. Nah, homeboy, this ain't happening. You ain't gonna do anything to me just because you
hood is hood, but work is work. Okay. You can't bring hood to work. Okay.
Exactly. And since they brought it there, they can't get mad that I'm hood smart. They can't get mad at me because I outsmarted them because they're a bunch of idiots.
But that's the emotion.
What you want to call it? Well, call me emotional, baby. But at the end of the day, they got two cases that they got to deal with.
You have every right to file child support on your man. You have every right.
Don't do that.
But I'm just saying, everybody has a right to do whatever they want to do in the legal system. And it's up to courts to see the validity of their case. That's all.
That's why I have two of them.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is that case worth the expense of your family? That's the case.
Yes.
Why you feel that way?
At the end of the day, people keep getting new jobs, and as a black woman, I listen. It is 2024. My mother was a correction officer when she was in the 90s, and she filed discrimination lawsuits in the 90s against New Jersey Department of Corrections for their discrimination, and got a federal dissent decree because of how they treated black officers.
This is what y'all do. This is what y'all do as a family.
Stuff that she did. Now you understand. So what I'm saying to you is.
So y'all
you're not going to treat people any type of which way, and I be aware of it, and I'm not saying nothing.
How do you want them to treat you?
That some people,
how do you want them to treat you?
To do at the end of the day, you pay me to do a job. As long as I'm doing my job, leave me the hell alone. Period.
So that's what you want to be left alone. You don't want no corrective action when you go do your performance appraisals. You want to get all stars.
I need you to use these things, baby. They call ears. I said, as long as I am doing my job. As long as I am doing my job and I'm meeting the work expectations, leave me alone. Yes, absolutely. If I come to work on time, which I did, if I do in my performance evaluation, I was supposed to do 140 cases. The year that they wrote me up for being incompetent because I was out of work on FMLA taking care of a sick child, I did 202 cases. You wrote me up for being incompetent. The evidence that you submitted in your case, I was one of the highest producing probation officers in the division. In addition to that, I was the highest assigned probation officer in the division. I worked for 15 days the month of November 2017 and worked on 29 individual cases. So the charges that I was incompetent were bogus and fraud. As a Black woman, you thought you was going to do me how you did them, and I would sit there and take it, and I ain't the one.
And that
so
was
when I filed my lawsuit,
Lyreshia, let me ask you a question, because we can't be all day online on this topic, but I got to ask you a question. So on your last performance appraisal, what triggered you to file this case? Was it from and based on your last performance appraisal, what made you trigger this? That's what I'm trying to figure out. What actually triggered this case?
The fraud. The state of New Jersey is committing money laundering. The state of New Jersey, the New Jersey judiciary is committing money laundering and fraud by bringing Black women and men and employees up under false departmental charges that they are not guilty of, that they did not commit.
Wait. That's okay. We're going 30,000 feet. Let's break it down to zero. Okay, so you saying fraud, you got to have a lot of substance for that. So how is that fraud based on performance evaluation? I'm trying to
because if you say an employee is incompetent and they're not doing their job, correct? You have to have the evidence to support that.
That's
you don't have the evidence to support, but but the evidence. No, I was written up because 6 cases had to be given away because I was so overassigned.
You was overwhelmed. Okay.
No. I wasn't overwhelmed. You're taking words out of my mouth. I'm speaking very clear. I said overassigned.
Overassigned.
As a probation officer, I was overassigned.
So Lyreshia, so you have a rubric, okay? So when you have performance metrics, because I have the same for my company, okay? So again, each probation officer is assigned a caseload of X, Y, and Z cases.
12 a month.
12 a month, okay? So you take that 12 cases. So if you're not able to, is there a way that they're closed out, or is it continuously going like a continuing 12? You know what I'm saying? Or it's a set 12. Okay, continue.
I completed the reports before they were sentenced.
Okay, yes.
So once you get sentenced, I don't have your case no more.
Okay, perfect. And so what happened, the fact that you had some distress in your home, and when you file family medical leave back, that means you're not working. You don't leave. You're at your house relaxing with or without pay. Yeah.
Not in this case. There are 2 types of FMLA. You have FMLA where you can take off into a year continuously, or you have intermittent leave, meaning you take the leave as needed. I had a child with a medical issue where I just needed to take off when, instead of them putting her in the hospital, I can take off and be with her. And then sometimes it may be for 3 days. So instead of the state putting her in the doctor putting her in the hospital, I could just be with her. So those 3 days I'm off of work.
So you didn't need to file federal medical leave to take 3 days
off.
No.
It's federal medical leave because if you take a certain amount of days off, because of her condition, she missed 10 days of school, 15 days in a year, 20 days, if you count all the 12 months. So if you miss 20 days as an employee, that counts as you not being able to do your job. But if you're missing those days because you have a legitimate medical issue and you have approved FMLA, they can't say that you're taking these days off of work. That's why it was done. So if you're saying that I am, because the issue with me being incompetent, they tried to discredit my lawful claims. I filed a discrimination complaint. Within 90 days, I'm being brought up for being incompetent.
No, so you're saying that the incompetent, okay, wait, so I'm trying to put the chronology of the events. So my question is the fact that so you had a performance appraisal, or they written you up. So they just written you up, or it was during review time? Which one was it?
I reported them for being racist. So within 90 days and 6 months, I was being brought up on departmental charges.
Okay,
that's how it went.
So your racist was general with everybody else, or your racist was your claim was based on you?
Individual, as a Black woman.
So
it was both.
So what was your claim that you felt that I, Deddrick T. Wilmer, who's a Dominican, that said you as a Black American, that it was racist?
Number one, they did not train Black employees. As soon as you got the position as a Black employee, they did not train you to do your job. How can I be effective? They did not train you. Black people are subject to discipline when Caucasian people are not. If They said that they would bring you up on departmental charges for things you did not do. When a white person did those things, they were not brought up on departmental charges. You can't do that. That's differential treatment.
They can. They can.
It's you can't. It's discrimination.
No, it's not discrimination.
That's why they sued, because they felt like
that's
you.
Not,
and that's why they asked and got 2 cases.
But that's not discrimination.
It is discrimination.
No,
it is.
They just have bad processes. Number one, they should be. That's subjective.
No, they racist.
Let me explain how the EOC works. Okay,
I know how it works. I did 2 cases by myself.
And I know that you historically with your mom and everybody else done it. So let me tell you, listen on this how it works in EOC cases. I'm just being honest with you. And you may not like what I have to say, but I'm being honest. On EOC cases, you have to prove beyond reasonable doubt that in racism is very, very, very subjective. Now, if they call you the N-word and they put it with a noose and they made it very graphic, which is called overt discrimination, man, and it's recorded. It is what it is. Okay.
They did that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And that's hard because again, it's overt. But when you talk about processes, and especially the government that's been existing, one of the first colonies of the United States, that's kind of hard. So, and it's not an excuse, it's reality. Okay.
Well, I wonder, do y'all have a book?
What you mean have a book? What you mean a book about
do
what?
Do y'all have a book of excuses that y'all got for every time a black person say something?
No, it's not that. It's just that it's understand reality, facts versus feelings. Okay. You have facts and you got feelings. And that's all it is, listen, audience. We can come with all kind of feelings about our situation in our lives, but we have to come with facts and not lump everybody into our argument. You have to be specific with the facts where it aligns with. So when you go to the court, when you go to mediation, whatever processes, it will go in your favor. We got to stop playing victim and start being victorious. If that job don't want you, go somewhere else. If that community don't embrace you, go somewhere else. In America, we have every opportunity to control our destiny. Do not allow anybody control your destiny. Frederick, what's your comments, man?
Well, hold on before Frederick starts. I want to read a few of the comments because, again, I knew this was going to be a heated topic. And Christopher Henson says, Brother Deddrick is an instigator, I see. Laughing out loud, the brother's all right with me. And he also stated that Lyreshia Speaks, I love your passion. Fred mentioned, for some, it is not easy to run. There have been a time when standing your ground is a necessity. I'm going to stand my ground when I'm right and consequences be damned. Chris Henson stated, to speak to the title, it's no difference in how police treat Black men and Black women. Just like life in general, our community needs to understand we need to stop being an enemy towards each other and get back to unity. We make the comparison and division thing too easy. And he also stated that I love me some FMLA. Fred stated,
man, I ain't never heard no FMLA for 3 days. That's a new one for me. I mean, you got sick time and vacation time, but for 3 days,
bro, I was
Lyreshia, I tell that crap to somebody else, Lyreshia.
I took my FMLA for days.
Yeah, leave family to leave alone and take your sick time and try to hold that sick time to take your trip to Miami or the Bahamas.
Lord.
My goodness.
I needed my FMLA. I had a sick time.
Fred also stated, I agree with Christopher Henson. There is no difference. Mistreatment and discrimination is the same across the board. So Chris said, laughing out loud, what's my guy Fred doing? Let's see. Chris also stated he's got a point. I agree with that statement. We do play victim too much.
And that's true.
I don't play victim.
And Lyreshia, I'm not beating you up. Lyreshia, I don't want to say we're not trying to devalue your story because your story is very legitimate. What I'm trying to avoid is the fact that is things in life, and I say this is because I don't know if you and your husband had these pillow talk conversations, because I knew your mother fired that shot many years back in the 90s. And trust me,
did you say
I've been in
conversation?
Yeah, I said pillow talk conversations, Frederick. Because I know
oh my gosh.
I know her and her husband, and she is beautiful and sexy. Okay. And that man is blessed to have that woman there. Ain't that like right, Lyreshia? You know what I'm saying?
We
I
on the
love your
verge
smile.
of dealing with all of this stress.
But that's the point that I'm making, Lyreshia. And this is where I'm getting at. Is it worth destroying Rome in your house and worry about, because you have the skill set. You have the skill set. You could go anywhere. I will bring you into Harris County, who are begging for a great probation officer like you, and will pay you top dollar, but you too comfortable up in Newark.
No, this is the thing. This is the thing. And I get the whole go get a job somewhere else. It's not that easy for somebody. If you see somebody, you have to decide what type of person you are. If you see somebody mistreating somebody, abusing people, and committing all these crimes, and please understand, I call the FBI and the DOJ and the U.S. Attorney, because crimes are crimes.
You call Brock and Barry, and you call Joe and Donald, huh?
I call whoever, because at the end of the day, if you're expecting me to be a taxpaying citizen, you're not gonna violate my rights. You're not gonna you could do that to anybody, you could do that to them. At the end of these rights, either I have these rights or I don't. And I'm not the one to play with.
You straight Karen on me now. That's Karen.
You can call it how you want to call it, but one thing you're not gonna do is you're not gonna kill me and tell me it's wrong.
I feel you.
You're not gonna do that. Some people cool with it.
I feel you. You're
not gonna do that to me.
I feel you, soul sister number one. I feel you. But at the end of the day, you have children, you have a husband, you have a family. Is it
and my children is not gonna be rolled over on? As a black woman, all I wanted to do was mind my business and do my job. I did my job to the best of my ability. And not only that, I was good at it.
I'm gonna tell you, you could work for me because I'll be riding your ass. Okay.
Leave me alone. No, you wouldn't, because I would get the job done. You were like, all right, I'm gonna leave her alone. But you're not gonna sit there and do something illegal and not a Karen. Yeah. You're not gonna sit there and do something illegal and commit crimes, and I'm gonna be silent about it. As a matter of fact, I'm a co-conspirator to your crimes. But just because you're a governmental entity,
you're making some strong accusations.
No, I'm allegedly making some strong. That's why the book. Now you know why the book title. What it's titled.
Guys, you have to buy this book. Please.
It is what it is. They did everything I said they did.
And I know this is not a fiction. This is nonfiction. So I mean, this is. And again, I have not had the opportunity of listening artists to read this book, and that's all due respect for me. I've not actually been prepared for this interview. This interview that I'm doing is more of a 30,000 view feat. Not the 0 feet as you all should have demanded for me to do. So that's my fault. And I take ownership to that. And Frederick, I'm going to let you take over, my man. Why you laughing, man?
Because you said 30,000 feet. Now we're back at 0. We was already at 30,000 feet when you started.
But because I didn't read the book. Unfortunately, I didn't read it. Now I got to buy the book. So what we're going to do about this publishing, get this back online on Lyreshia, because I see sold out. I don't like that because I need to get this book ASAP. I want to read this for Easter.
Thank you. Carla Smith, I love you. She's a smart woman. Yes, I'm speaking. I'm speaking my truth, what I experienced. The book is going to come. I'm trying to get the book out as soon as possible. It's just I'm trying to bring, like, my thing now is bringing attention to what happened to my nephew, because the violation that was done to him. It was like the crimes that was done to him. Every time I tell somebody, they always say it should be. I even got a movie offer from my book before my book was even finished, because people can't believe the stuff that I'm saying. No, the mom, Tanya Pickens, she's the mother in Above the Rim. She contacted me on Twitter.
Won't you let that Carla Smith lady who just she could be the leading role actress for you. She could play
Keke Palmer gonna play me.
How you gonna play Keke Palmer? Why you can't get Carla?
Keke Palmer is gonna play me.
Oh my Lord! How you gonna select who's gonna play you?
God, it's my movie.
Carla's better.
But I'm just saying, my nephew was on parole. My nephew was on parole. He was in a facility. Somebody came up to my nephew and said they wanted to fight my nephew. My nephew was like, I don't want to fight. They said to my nephew, I'm gonna fight you anyway. My nephew went to the staff saying he don't want to fight. If he get a parole violation, my aunt got a lot going on, I don't want to fight. The person physically assaulted my nephew. My nephew broke his hand defending himself. The state of New Jersey parole officer contacted me, said your nephew did nothing wrong. I saw the videotape. Somebody assaulted him. He's defending himself. He should be released within 5 weeks after the hearing because he didn't do anything. 5 weeks later, My nephew, my sister goes to visit my nephew. They say my nephew said he refused to visit. My sister knew that not to be true. She called the warden. She called everybody going off. They sent him to Trenton State Prison. The Trenton State Prison staff called me and said he is in such a psychotic state. They want to know what happened because he was just released in February. It's April. What happened to his mental state that he was such a severe mental state? They never seen anything like it. They were torturing my nephew while he was in prison. My nephew was released from St. Peter's Hospital in New Brunswick on March the 30th. April the 15th, he was released from Cooper's Hospital in South Jersey. He was released from 2 hospitals within 2 weeks. By May 5th, Trenton State is calling and saying my nephew was in such a psychotic state. What happened? The Mercer County Correctional Center tortured my nephew while he was in prison. They refused to give him his medication to get him in a psychiatric state. That's how he got his parole violation. His parole violation, there's a videotape of him being assaulted. The state of New Jersey parole, Officer Sass, SASS, refusing to give that state over to his attorney. This is what I'm saying, whereas the corruption. You cannot not give over evidence.
And I see that. And that's why, again, when we get this young man out, get the hell out of Jersey. Okay.
Oh, no, you think I'm staying in this racist state and I'm going up?
Get the hell out of Jersey.
I'm already out.
And everything
I'm
else.
already out.
So let's start the conversation, Frederick. We're going to talk about is police discrimination. Is it different from men versus women? Okay. I'm just going to say this, and I'm going to throw this out there. And again, I don't first seen police discrimination there. I mean, there's always bad fruits in every batch. Okay. And I support the blue. Okay. I'm going to be put it out there. I support the blue. And I know in our community,
you are in the minority, my friend.
I can give 2 cats regardless. Because guess what? If somebody busts your damn door, Frederick, and want to come whip your ass, and you trying to get in a dog fight with that person, then guess what? We're gonna
trust me.
They
won't get that.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, Frederick. I'm keeping 100. You don't keep it 100. You know that. And I'm just using an example. Well, we want the blue when we need the blue. Okay.
No, we don't.
They won't get that far.
Yeah. But I know they won't. But I'm just saying that. But we need the blue when we want the blue. Okay. You were saying we want the blue when it's convenient. Now, has there been acts of discrimination in every field, especially in law enforcement across the country? Hell yeah. Yes, it has. But I'm not going to sit up here and say, oh, well, every municipality that has guys who wear blue is a problem. I'm not. You know what I'm saying? And that's what goes back to, again, and I'm gonna leave this conversation on is why everything's like the baby dad is the boogeyman, the cops is the boogeyman, the white man, the boogeyman, the Karens are the boogeyman. So it's all these boogeyman characters that's in certain delegations of our community that we always have some issue. When we got, because again, a cop, and I ain't worried about no damn cop. What I worry about is Lyreshia's nephew, okay, and I'm using him as an example, not saying situation. A young man who's in out of jail, who's been back and forth. No, I'm not saying your son. I'm not saying your nephew directly. I'm using his situation. Someone who can come from a family of love, okay? You're saying who have nothing to lose. That is a dude who will pull up on and shoot another dude that he involved with. That's a person who will attack me and the family, the people I love, okay? And that's what I'm more concerned about. So I give 2 shits about law enforcement and the blue. I worry about people in my own community because there's more people that shoot each other in our own community than the blue messing with us. So we got to take care of business at home. If we take care of business at home, then people outside our world will respect us. But we got charity begins at home. We got to take care of business home. Stop having babies with side pieces. Stop having babies. No, I'm speaking Lyreshia. I'm speaking right now. Stop having babies with people that you don't in love with. And when the child comes to this earth, you love them. You give them the resources, but you don't sit there and beat that person down because of the fact that you don't have no love and no respect of the father. That is not that child's cross to bear. And you give that child the necessary support. Children makes mistakes. We all make mistakes. But we have to realize the fact that you still love and you support. You give them the resources. You put them in good neighborhoods. You put them in good schools. and you expose them to greatness, he or her to excellence. That's how we can eliminate the problem. But until we respect our own, nobody's ever going to respect us. So I turn over to the floor.
I hear what you're saying, bro.
So come to excuses.
I trust me, my excuse is not an excuse. And I'm gonna say this, and it ain't gonna go over well with a lot of people. And at this point, I do not care. But what you may call what I'm about to say an excuse, for me is a legitimate gripe and a legitimate beef. And you may not know this, Deddrick.
Yes, sir.
Miss J knows it. But in 2015, I lost my child to a police-involved shooting. Yeah. Now, with that being said, without me jumping into the specifics of this whole thing, I'm just gonna say my child was shot executioner style. The officer wasn't even held responsible for it.
It went to the grand jury, huh?
It didn't go nowhere. It went to the Commonwealth's attorney, and that's where it stopped.
That's the key.
Now this is in Virginia, mind you. Now, do I have a legitimate beef? Yeah, I do. Because you killed my kid in cold blood, but then when I ask questions, I sent emails to the Commonwealth attorney, to the police chief at the time. No answers. I didn't get an answer. His mom and his stepdad were running point on the whole thing. Me, being a father, I mean, I'm asking questions, but I'm also watching to see what they're gonna do. They did nothing. And then I get this half-ass excuse about this, that, and the third. You gonna tell me about rules of engagement, bro? I'm in the military, so I understand rules of engagement.
Mm-hmm.
I do understand rules of engagement. If a person is turning away from you, you should not engage that person. But then again, hey, what the hell do I know? And if someone says that my beef ain't legitimate, I don't care, because it is. And for me to not get answers, for me to ask questions, not get answers, for me to get secondhand information was the thing that frustrated the hell out of me. And then still to get a half answer from the acting police chief at the time. Not the original police chief, but the acting one at the time. And then giving a reason, well, dude, y'all could have did something different. Why the hell y'all didn't deploy y'all tasers? It was three police officers there with one person. One person. One. And come on, man. I mean, like I said, I mean, for me, that's not an excuse. And if anybody labels it as an excuse,
I am so sorry.
I'm cool with that. I mean, if anybody labels
that's Frederick. Your situation is
what I'm saying. If anybody labels it as an excuse,
my worst nightmare.
They can go to hell.
And yeah, if all due respect, Frederick, that is ultimately for a law enforcement officer.
No,
anybody in this world. I mean, these guys are trained, okay, to diffuse a situation. We all know that, okay. Now, of course, under your investigation. So again, and I don't know how it is in the Commonwealth of Virginia, but in most jurisdictions in the nation, this would have been actually given to a grand jury to see if there's any based on investigation, and that sometimes they may request to push media engagement, push other levels of engagement to get it done. You know what I'm saying? And we're not going to sit here in this type of format today to go on what the hell happened. No, that's not this type of format, and we're not going there. And everybody knows. But the point that I'm making, is Lyreshia and our listening audience, is the fact that, is it different? I don't see that is any difference between gender. I don't want this to be a gender situation. Okay. Well, in my opinion, that we're gonna pick on the dudes, we're gonna leave the women alone. I don't think it's a situation. I just always say in my life is the fact that I know that in the country we live in today, that most police officer, and I'm gonna go back. We had the wars in Afghanistan. Okay, So we had the Desert Storm. We had the first Desert Storm back in the mid-90s. And then we had the one after Afghanistan and Iraq. Okay. So all those guys from that came back from the States who was deployed became police officers in a lot of jurisdictions. And I said publicly, and I said, publicly and privately, that I'm worried about the pool of law enforcement officers going to be in our communities, in all communities. I said that publicly because of the fact that are they trained to be MPs? Are they trained for combat? Or are they trained to provide community support? Okay. And that's a question that no one ever brings up because there's certain protected class of Americans, and veterans is one of them. Even though there's an argument who get treated, and Frederick, you serve in the military, so that's an argument who get treated better than others. But it is from a general perception is a protected class. Okay, and so by being protected, they feel that okay, well, due to me having PTSD or me having issues when I serve abroad, this is the reason why I did what justify whatever. This is why I would say, they need to have psychological tests before you be a law enforcement officer. Number one. Number two, every law enforcement officer need to have a bond. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So, and that bond has to be very expensive. So you would think twice before you engage in something crazy, because if you think twice before you engage in crazy, it's going to hurt your pocketbook. Because when something hurts your money, you're not going to do anything crazy. I feel that should be done. Also, too, it should be a MLS system. My industry, it's a federal register system and whatever else. So it tells you wherever municipality you work at, and if there are any deficiencies or any form of complaints, it's public record. You know what I'm saying? Because I could jack up in East Baton Rouge Parish as a sheriff and go work at Tarrant County in Texas and then get another job next week. And nothing ever happened. Okay. And so it has to be a federal oversight on that. I'm not saying that this is our issue, but Frederick has a different situation because it hit home to him. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Because number one, the lack of transparency. Number two, what the hell happened? What really went down? Were there any witnesses or whatever? And that maybe go into Lyreshia's point as her argument was. Yeah. And based on Lyreshia's point is that one thing about government, they stick together. I mean, and
yeah, they do.
They stick together. And that's the reality. And I've always say is that it's kind of like attacking, and I hate to use this metaphorically. This is the reason why I always say I read the room. Okay. And reading the room means that you read your environment. Okay. Some things you can't avoid, but some things you can't avoid. And Frederick, his son's situation, that's unavoidable. Who knows? And I doubt if it was. But other situations, you got to get out. You got to move on. You got to whatever. And I train my son. My son lives in your part of the world, Lyreshia, and him and I have had in many talks on what to do in certain engagements. No different from a cop, no different from a dude who trying to rob you, which he was carjacked, okay, in Jersey City, okay? You know what I'm saying? And it was crazy how we trying to get service police departments from one community and across the river where the kid lives in New York and doing whatever. So again, and the blue came through. It took time, but they did. So they do serve their purpose. A lot of times they don't, but that's in any field. And some take a dramatic impact like Frederick take. But my deal is the fact that why I say again, is that I don't lump them all, in my opinion, bad group, but y'all can, but I turn over to y'all guys.
Mr. Frederick, I'm so sorry that happened to you. I apologize from the bottom of my heart, and that is why I fight. And my book, my book does three things. It tells my story of who I am as a person, what happened to me in the workplace, and some solutions to the problem. And one of the major solutions to the problem is that people don't see the police for the devils that they are. And they make the excuse and say that, oh, well, they protect and serve. They have never, in no way, shape, or form, since 1619, have protected and served Black people. The entire judicial branch of government only has one job and one job only, and that is to target and segregate Black people. That is why a lot of people don't understand when it comes to the police. The police are literally the lowest man on the totem pole. You have to look at the entire judicial branch of government and how the 13th Amendment says neither slavery nor involuntary servitude except as a punishment for a crime. Except mean you can have slavery and involuntary servitude if you are convicted of a crime. That is why mass incarceration, the 13th Amendment, and all of those things in regards to prison incarceration and how that is the new Jim Crow is an issue. Because people are starting now to realize that, wait a minute, that's why you have people in prison for 10, 20, 30, 40 years for crimes they did not commit. But you have white people who commit crimes and are found innocent. Because it's not for them, it's for us.
I'm going to give you the solution to the problem. One of the main solutions is, again, live in areas where your children,
that's not the solution.
You can't live, we can't live everywhere. We're not on the plantation.
The solution is to dismantle the judicial branch of government.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
The solution.
That's crazy.
Because state-sanctioned murder is never okay.
We have to have law and order. We can't let
time out. You're not listening. State-sanctioned murder is never okay. And for people to say, well, it's okay that we have some police because some of them are bad is BS. No. They are out here unaliving Black Americans for simply because they can, and our only thing is, oh, well, live somewhere else.
You have to.
Where?
You have to.
We need an entire new branch of government.
Lyreshia, leave Jersey. Leave Jersey.
Okay, so what? The Philando Castile was in Minnesota. Brianna, like, are you Jersey? It's a United States. There's an entire branch of government is based to go after Black people. Until we start realizing what the problem is, we're going to keep putting these band-aids on bullet wounds.
Frederick's situation is the most critical situation anybody can experience. Okay, that's number one. But again, we have to move. We have to live and function in a society. Every environment, every community is not for us. Just because we won't stay at grandma's house and we got no mortgage to pay and we got cheap rent and we don't want to leave. This is why we have the issues we have.
Who has cheap?
We have to take. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm not saying that apply to you, Lyreshia. But there's
I'm just saying these things. Yeah. These do you have a handbook? Do you all of you guys who have the same rhetoric? Do y'all have a handbook that y'all use, because y'all use the same words, the same phrases about how things are, and that's not how it works.
But that's how I live my life. I live my life.
But the judicial branch of government has been targeting Black people in all of the 50 states.
Yeah.
So what state do you think we should go to?
That's true.
So what areas should we go to?
If you're in a system, you stay in the system, but you got to avoid yourself getting into the system. That's where the chase is. What is the first thing I said?
What about my
situation? Let me say this. What the first thing I said? The first thing I said, listen, audience, was the fact that the hardest thing for me to do is to stay out of trouble. The easiest thing for me to do is to get in trouble. Okay? I shared it to my son. I shared it to every person I've known in my life. It is so easy to get caught up in those streets.
As a Black person, it's not easy when you're targeted.
And it's so hard to do. It's so hard.
You are forgetting the fact that this entire branch of government targets Black people consistently. You can't sit here and say, y'all got to stay out of trouble. Y'all got to leave us the hell alone. This entire branch of government, the prosecutors who are not prosecuting the police, the judges who were literally judges in Pennsylvania were actually getting paid to send kids to prison. Guess whose kids it were? It's this entire branch of government. Until we be real about what the problem is, we're going to keep fighting over all the police.
The boogeyman always exists. The boogeyman exists. Okay,
we don't need police.
The devil could be the white man, the police, the Black woman, you know what I'm saying, or whomever else. That is Satan is alive and well. Okay, but I'm not gonna live my life living in fear. I'm not gonna live my life worrying about the system. I'm not gonna live my life that, because God is giving me some type of joy. Okay, every life ain't the fucking struggle. Excuse my language, my listening audience. Every day is not the fucking struggle. Sometimes we got to be rejoiceful, at least on this Palm Sunday, that we have our health. You got a beautiful family, okay? You're saying you are not in intensive care unit right now. Any of your family members don't know if you're gonna live today or tomorrow, or who's gonna make it this past week. You don't have that.
That does not excuse the government for violating its black citizens just because they can.
Everything's not fight the power. Fight your
Everything
home.
is fight the power.
Fight your home. Fight
My
your
home is fine.
Okay, that's a blessing. Okay, focus on that. Get your kids.
So now I'm taking it to the streets.
College. But for what?
Now I'm taking it to the streets. Why? Because that's what you're supposed to do. If you see somebody violating something, right, what do you suppose? That's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to sit there and watch your fellow man. You're supposed to stand up for what is right. Dr. King's birthday is the day after mine. Mine the day before him. I'm a leader. You can't get mad at me. I'm a Capricorn.
No.
That's what you do.
Well, that says a lot. I respect that.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say this. What I want you to do, Miss Capricorn, okay?
Muhammad Ali is a Capricorn.
Okay, again, he's one of the greatest fighters on earth. But again, you know, yeah. But I say this, my Capricorn, my love, we have to put the same energy to bring love within our community. And I keep stressing this.
I'm fighting for love.
But fight in our own community, we got problems. And
no, we don't. That's the thing that they use. Oh, you got problems in your community. Oh, child, bye. We ain't got no problem. The only problem in our community is white supremacy and the racist police, the judges. Like, because my thing is, if you look at every problem black people have in America, black people don't have no issues against other black people that wasn't manufactured by them. We don't have no issues. Even the paper bag challenge or how you look, the colorism, those are all their issues that they put on us. So as a person who I told my kids, I broke a lot of generational curses. I was the mother that had 5 kids by the time she was 25 years old. I said, I'm not going to have no kids until I was married. I own my own home. I bust my butt to get part of this American dream. And it didn't matter because I'm black. It didn't matter. None of that mattered. So for you to say, oh, we got to do our community is fine if they would get out of it. If white supremacy wasn't infiltrating our culture, they did it with everything that black people created. And we created everything. Rock and roll, country music, hip hop, and all. And when they come into it, they destroy it. They literally infiltrate to destroy it. So you can say we got to do this for our own when they come in and they come in our spaces and won't leave us alone.
And I listen to artists. One thing I always say this: you can't change ism, okay? But what you can do is change what you do in your own home, okay? That's the most important thing. Charity begins at home, okay? Is it?
Well, my home is fine, so I'm fighting the man because they want to sit there and be the problem and then tell us what our problems are. They bought Jet Magazine, they bought Ebony Magazine, they bought Essence. They'll sit there and write in an article, black woman, you don't need no man. That magazine is owned by white supremacists telling us what we need.
So let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Who's more influential in your life, Sexy Red or Michelle Obama?
Who is
who's more influential? Who's more influential to your life and your kids' life? Sexy Red or Michelle Obama?
Asana Shakur. My kids don't know.
I asked you 2 questions.
Michelle Obama.
I ain't asked nobody else. I asked you 2 ladies. Michelle Obama.
She's a Capricorn, by the way. Okay. Another Capricorn.
So why not Sexy Red?
Who is that?
Google it.
Oh, okay.
Sexy Red is one of the most is one. She's like Beyonce in certain delegations of our community.
Okay.
See, you get to know your people. That's what I'm saying. Know your people.
I would the word certain.
And know your people. And the reason I say know your people, because you got to understand that black excellence and greatness, in which that's a whole nother conversation about police discrimination, is one of our issues right now. Because that's what's destroying us. The character part of our community
white supremacy is destroying us. First of all, Sexy Red is from St. Louis, okay? Because I went to grad school in St. Louis. I graduated from St. Louis.
You should know Sexy Red. That's your own girl.
I do know who she is. Okay. But I feel as though white supremacy, you got to understand what white supremacy is. And you want to put everything on us when we don't control the media. We don't control the radio stations. We are the ones not putting her. We are he a different kind of Capricorn because he different. He's different. He might be a December Capricorn. I'm a January Capricorn. There's a difference.
I'm a Leo, mama.
Oh, you a Leo? No wonder. Oh, okay. Now I get it. I think y'all run everything.
No, we love us.
But what you have to understand, white supremacy owns the media. Yeah. White supremacy owns the radio station. White supremacy owns all of these entities that her face and her booty is on every time you turn around. And then Malcolm X said it. They'll get one of us just to say it was one of us. So they want white supremacy putting her out there telling us that she should be but white supremacy is trying to pick our leader and tell us how we want. That's how white supremacy works.
you made a point about Ebony and Jet magazine. So that was owned by the Johnson Publishing Group. Okay. And so what has happened that, you got all and black folks is $1 trillion. Even though we about 15% of the population of the United States, we bring in $1 trillion into the GDP. Okay. That's what we do annually. Okay. And so what has happened is the fact that every company is always subject for sale. But what has happened, the fact that we don't believe that media is, and I think Christopher asks this, the media is technically the gatekeeper of our community. Because when I was a kid, social media to me was Jet magazine every week. I got good articles,
of the week, baby.
and I got and you damn sure it's beauty of the week. Okay, you beauty of the year. Okay, you know what I'm saying? I'll be honest with you. So that's what and the Ebony magazine was like the family magazine. It was family culture, but that's set the tone of our community. But we allow your friends. No, we didn't. We allow your friends, the white, gay, Jewish, liberal media. Okay, I'll put it out there to change the narrative because your friend. We feel sorry for you. We embrace the struggle with you. We love you. You know what I'm saying?
Wait. Hold on, a minute.
And we allow that. We allow that. Oh no, we allowed that to change the narrative because guess what? They was the highest bidder. They gave the money and they did whatever. And then now you follow the rules. Whoever got the purse controls the message. Okay.
And that's the thing. So don't blame it on black people, blame it on white supremacy. So when you talk about this community, that's who you blame it on.
White supremacy is poor white trash. They control no goddamn
that's policy. Not white supremacy is the ideology that they go by. Okay, Capricorn.
White, gay, Jewish, liberal folks are what controls the narrative, and there's funding behind it. So let's call it for what it is.
Yeah. Yes, but you said black people need to go in our communities when they are the ones destroying our community.
Again, Christopher said, who's the gatekeeper? The gatekeeper in our community now is the white, gay,
exactly.
Jewish,
so earlier you were saying black people need to get their homes in order.
We don't.
Our homes are in order.
Okay.
Our homes are in order.
No, it's not. It's
yes,
not.
It is.
No,
yes,
it's
it
not.
Is.
It's not.
Hold on. Because to me, and this is going to be a very unpopular opinion. There are issues that transcend what you're talking about, Miss Lyreshia. There are issues that we have in our own communities which transcend that.
No, I don't. Give me an example so I can see what you're talking about.
Single motherhood.
That's something that's not. Let me give me an example of something that was not forced on us. That's our issue. Something that's not forced on us. That's our issue. Because if it was forced on us, that's not our issue. That was the way they programmed it and forced it to be. So that's white supremacy doing it.
But it's an issue that we consistently struggle and deal with. Whether it's forced or not, it's still an issue.
Back in slavery, I'm gonna bring everything to slavery to show y'all that that's not our issue. White slave masters used to go into and do what they wanted with the black women, and they fathered all of these kids all over, and they never took care of them. They are the founders of deadbeat dads, but they want to blame us for it. More black men are actually fathers, pay child support, and more involved in their kids, and that's the statistics. So they want to tell you that is our issue, Lyreshia, not homeboy. That's Lyreshia, not one we taking either.
I'm gonna tell you something, and Brother Frederick, I don't know if you can relate to this. I've been divorced for many years now, and as I've gotten to my journey after my marriage, and I don't know any men, including yourself, Frederick, and we don't even hang out. And I know your character, man. I don't know not one dude in my circle of men that I know in my life I have managed that's not involved in a child's life. But it's strange that every goddamn woman that I meet, I say by 9 out of 10 women that they have no relationship with the father. That blows my goddamn.
But how do you know that? But what I'm saying is, again, like he said, the issue.
Y'all just make. Well, let me say this, Lyreshia. Is this a narrative that people just make up as they go to make them feel as a victim? Because that shit just doesn't. I don't understand that because
the media, the media push out that black fathers are this. That is not the factual case.
Y'all bought into the gay, white,
no,
Jewish,
we did not buy into it. So again, we did. Who you saying this we? Who is this we that you speak of? I don't live in France.
You and your friends and your friends, friends and your friends.
My friends, we this. We don't. Like this is what I'm saying.
I want you to write a book about black love. Can you get a book? Can you write that?
I got a couple of books.
I want you to be, because you're the inspiration. I want your energy towards by the restoring Black families, how to overcome adversity, how to persevere, and how to love someone
because
unconditionally.
Black family is everything. Because Black family is everything, and there is Black families, but the media will say that there's an issue with baby mamas and all of this. But if I just say the statistics that Black men are taking care of their kids, Black men are providing, Black paying the child support, going to football game, Black men are doing this. So who are these men? Who are these women that saying that they have them and they're not taking care of their kids? Because again,
it's a check. Because the government started way back in when it started
white supremacy.
Back in what was that? I can't think the act that it was, whereas the white liberalism was this rise back in the 60s, was that we're going to take the fathers of the home because you got a man house. We're not going to give you a check and give
welfare
you complimentary housing. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't call it welfare because people need assistance. Okay. You know what I'm saying? And assistance was supposed to be temporarily to get you ahead, not to become a part of your lifestyle. But it was, again, we took the bait. The government did not put a gun to your head. Again, because guess what? In 2024, these Negroes only why they want to vote for Trump. Okay. And I'm a full-fledged Republican. Okay. To the day I die. Okay. But I'll tell you this, but they want to vote for Trump. And I love Joe Biden, me some Joe Biden. But they want Donald Trump because they want a check. No different as it is. We will sell our souls for a goddamn check. Okay.
Who is this we you speak of? I am not in France.
Your cousins.
No, my cousins is not. No. This when you say when you talk about the we, the collective, a lot of Black people are conservative.
Certain part of we're the original conservatives. We are the original conservatives. Okay.
We are, but that Republicans is different. But
it started with us. I mean, yeah. But what I'm getting at, Lyreshia, is the fact that our issue is it's more micro than it's macro. Okay, you coming from a macro, but it's very micro, and that micro it could be from environment to environment. I'm gonna tell you something. I'm as conservative as a not social conservative. I'm as passionate conservative as get, and I got people that look at me sideways because I'm an intelligent Black man. I'm the most hated man in this goddamn country because they don't understand why in the hell that I can formulate a sentence, why I take care of my child, why I have some lick of intelligence. And I have some damn decent look. I ain't better looking at Frederick, but I'm damn close to him. Okay. You know what I'm saying? They can't understand it. And I don't live the fucking struggle. Okay. That's the point that America don't want to understand. But poor white trash don't get it. And guess what? The white Jews hate it. They hate Barry, which is Barack Hussein Obama, and damn sure they gonna hate me. Okay. And Barack Obama set the standard of Black excellence. Him and his wife showed America what Black excellence really was. What happened over the last 8 to 12 years since he's been out of office? We allow other entities to destroy that. Because once Black folks come to us, we can't be never stopped. And guess what? But we don't realize our value because we're not just Black America. We are America. Okay. You're saying, is there discrepancies between how they treat us? Hell yes. Because poor whites and certain groups of others don't understand Black excellence. And we got to do a better job to promote Black excellence and to start playing our foolishness on the streets. When that happens, then they will respect us when it comes out to social injustices and other actions that go against us. And that's my 2 cents, and I take along with it. So,
my thing, I agree with you, bro. I mean, because we have completely forgotten how to build with each other. We've forgotten that wholeheartedly. We don't. The gap between us, I think, is so wide. You can't cross it.
Yeah.
The gap between us is, and this goes back to our conversation, and the topic of at hand. Of course, discrimination is. I don't think, I don't think discrimination between police discrimination between men and women is different. It's the same across the board, as far as I'm concerned. Because discrimination is discrimination. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It don't matter. Doesn't matter the gender of the person. Honestly speaking, let's just call that what that is.
I agree.
But at the same time, like I said earlier, there are things that transcend what we've got going on. I mean, of course, white supremacy is the thing, but that ain't the tip of the iceberg. As far as I know, first of all, let's start to build with each other so we can close that gap. because
How can
how
we,
we
man? How
how we
can
gonna
we?
make strong communities?
But
How
how
we gonna build
can
strong
we?
communities when we don't
Yeah.
know how to when we can't build with each other?
But we like to struggle. We like that misery. That's no different. And like, I mean, I know Lyreshia's not here with us, but if if her husband decided to say, I'm out this marriage because you fighting these wars with all these entities and and I'm out, then her battle goes to, then the next battle will be her husband or any other man in her life. And that's the point I'm getting at, is that there's some people that's been to war. You've been to war in both trenches with your family and serving our country. You in a total different stratosphere, man. And what you say is 100% validity, because people cannot walk your walk. But people fight the wrong battles. You know what I'm saying? People fight the wrong war. Like no different for Vladimir Putin right now. He's still sending. I got a text from my son this morning and woke the shit out of me this morning that, and that he fired a nuclear capable missile across from Russia into the Ukraine. Okay. When he should be fighting ISIS, but you can't fight ism. Okay.
Nope.
You can fight a nation, but you can't fight ism. And
Nope.
I don't care. You fight ism. Russia learned that in Afghanistan many years ago. That's why they got kicked out. That brought down the Soviet Union, as it was formerly, which is now Russia. It brought down damn near brought down America. That's why we had to get our ass out. You can't fight an ideology of hate.
Nope.
But what you can do is focus on what you could do to inspire your own, and not allow that mess infiltrate into how I decided my life. Those children I expect her children to be great. Okay. But if they get caught in the battle of what the grandmama did and now the daughter doing, the children are going to do the same thing. When they get corrective action, if you boss tell you that you're not a fit here and you're not performing well, go find another job. Okay. It's not your environment. When you interview and your intuition tells you that these people ain't gonna like you and you're not a fit, that means you're not a culture fit. You may be a JFI all day long. That's called job. That means that's a job fit interview. It means you fit the job description, but you don't fit the culture. Every culture gonna want. It's like a woman. Every woman ain't gonna want me. Damn sure they may want you, Frederick, but they don't want me. You know what I'm saying? So every environment don't fit. That does not say I'm entitled to be in that environment. But that means the fact that, hey, I need to pack my bags and move on. Now, all due respect to our nephew is the fact that is a total situation. And this is the reason why, listening audience, if you have any family member that can't think right, I don't care if they've been diagnosed with everything in the book, but they just don't make good decisions. You have to put them in controlled environments in your home, have somebody watch them so they don't go left. But there's some environments where he stay in the system. But there's some things in this world that you just have to pray over them. And I pray over my son every single day. If anything happens to my kid, give me the courage to get the answers, but also to take my kid at home and allow him to be my angel to grab me when I get called home. That's all I ask. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's all I pray for. Because this world, it's a beast. This world's got greatness, but it's, again, the devil, Satan, is alive and well.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
Frederick, I'm gonna let you close it out tonight, man. I'm gonna let you get the final words, man. Shut this down tonight, man.
So, like I said, for me, it goes back to what we talked about earlier, what we said earlier, what I mentioned a few moments ago. I mean, there are issues that transcend just the singular issue of white supremacy. And my brother Christopher Henson said it so very well. It starts and it stops with us. We need to stop using those systems as an excuse, because we give those systems too much power. And yes, brother, I'm giving you credit. I'm giving you credit for that, Christopher. I am giving you credit for that, because when we give this stuff way too much damn power, and we're not the power. The focus should be on building our communities, bridging the gap with our kids, bridging the gap with our parents, bridging the gap with our interpersonal relationships with each other, whether it's romantic, friendship, or otherwise. We live in this mentality to where I got to screw you over to get on top. And who was that created? Who was that? Of course, it was created by the other, but
it was.
We embraced.
We bought that culture. We embraced that culture.
We embraced it.
Right.
We embrace it. We live it. We live in it. We act upon it, and we do it. Again, also the American feminist movement. Again, that was something
that wasn't our fight. That wasn't our fight.
Sisters, I'm gonna tell y'all that movement was not y'all's fight.
Right.
We need to stop getting into conflicts.
Everybody else, other people fights.
that ain't in our interest. We need
the LGBTQ X, Y, and Z. It's not our fight.
Dude, and I'm gonna talk about this tomorrow on my show. How do we build bridging the gap with our sisters, because that's important. But I think one of the things, I do understand where Miss Lyreshia is coming from. I understand where her fight is. I understand. But just from here, I understand where her fight is, but also understand who her fight is against. And me personally, it's my hope and my prayer that her nephew gets the justice that he so rightly deserves. And I mean true justice, not bought out and sold justice. And it's also my hope that, that situation where her gets resolved in a manner to where it is no longer damaging to her. But I mean, I don't know. I think when we as black people look at justice, or what we want as being justice and what we get as justice are two different things. We want justice. We want that person to be culpable. We want that person to be responsible. We want that person to be accountable. We want that person to be held to account. But what we get is something with a price tag on it. The city will give us a payout, which in some instances just says that the person that did it doesn't admit to wrongdoing.
Just a settlement.
So now you're gonna give me this check with several zeros behind it, and you expect me to say, I'm gonna take this, but so now I'm not gonna say anything, and it shouldn't be the case. I mean, true justice comes when that person is punished for the crime that they commit. Of course, we get punished for the crime that we commit, right? It should be the same across the board, but is it? No, it's not.
Well, I always say, what's the end game? What's the end game? Yep.
You're right. What's the end game? And if there's no end game, or if there's no and this is just a perpetual this is just a circular thing that's going to continue to happen, because as long as there are bad apples on the tree, as long as those bad apples continue to act with indiscriminately, as long as those bad apples act with malice or with a subterfuge or whatever they want to use, that justice is always going to be bought and sold, unfortunately.
And you said right, Frederick. And I close out the show tonight is, in life is all about what you want out to be. And you can make it macro for the premise of the community, or you can make it micro within your family. As my mother said, the late Sietta Marie Simon Wilmer always said, charity begins at home. What you do at home is where reflection what you do in your community.
You said her full name.
Her full government name. Lord bless her soul. And it's all about charity begins at home. And again, the same energy that you want to do to fight the streets, fight the power, fight that in your homes. Encourage others to stay married. Encourage others to stay in their relationships. You know what I'm saying? Say others to believe in love. Because guess what? The closest thing of God, the representation of God is love. And nothing would never break love. And always keep that in mind. So thank you for listening today. May God bless you. And again, stay peace, joy, and the love of happiness. Good night.
Before we actually close out again, I wanted to highlight some of our sponsors before leaving. And just to let you all know, unfortunately, Lyreshia was blocked out of returning. But I just wanted to say to her, thank you so much for coming on, giving your story, and enlightening our audience regarding your situation and how we can better our community as a whole. So thank you so much again, everyone. And let me go ahead and play these commercials, and we are going to close out from here.
Tantalizing Talks, the podcast. Hosted by the Love Coach, Tosh Johnson. Our focus is on your communication, love language, self-discovery, self-care, sensuality, and sexuality. Helping you to find yourself while embracing change. Sit back and be enlightened by the Love Coach here on Tantalizing Talks, the podcast. The Lotus Vision Inc. is a unique publishing company that offers coaching and publishing services with a focus on healing and empowerment through storytelling. By focusing on the individual needs and goals of each author, we offer a range of services that go beyond traditional publishing. Through our unique approach, our focus is to create a healing experience to help authors bring their stories to life with impact and authenticity. Our mission is to revolutionize the publishing industry by providing authors with a platform to share their stories in a way that resonates, inspires, and heals. We believe in the power of storytelling to create connections to make a positive impact in the world. Are you ready to tell your story? For more information, schedule an appointment or email us at info@thelotusvision.com or visit our social media pages. The Lotus Vision Inc. Coaching and Publishing Company. Finding the beauty in your story. Find us on our social media page. Special thanks to this week's sponsors.
Tune in for our next video. Make sure to like and subscribe. And don't forget to turn on post notifications so you won't miss out on any